Okay, we're live, my man.
Awesome.
Okay, so man, thank you so much for being here again, man. I thought you were gonna be on podcast number 200 and something, but we're around 50.
All right. Hey, that's okay, man. You took actions and you got her going. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm so happy to have you on again. And unfortunately, we it's not the safest thing to practice in person right now, but eventually we'll get there one day. So
Yeah.
how has life been, man? Tell me about what your adventure has been with your motivational speaking and everything that you're doing.
That everything's good, man. I finished my life coaching course, so I finished my associate certified coaching course, my professional certified coaching course.
Nice.
So I'm
Congrats.
setting all that up. I just did a case study with the chance for people to work with me for free
Nice.
to gain experience. To be ICF accredited, you have to get 25 pro bono hours plus 75 paid hours. So
Hmm.
trying to hammer out those, and then they get ICF accredited, which is International Coaching Federation.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I got together my signature speech, but there hasn't really been any opportunity to go and speak.
Really? Oh,
So
not. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just gonna put out some feelers, hopefully for next school year, maybe next year's hockey teams, football, just see what I can get for now. But
Nice, man. What do you think you've like with doing all these certifications? What do you think is the biggest thing that you learned out of all this stuff?
you know what? That through coaching and listening to influencers, reading, it's everything comes down to what do you want to be, do, or have in life. And people just want more clarity and direction on getting there.
Hmm.
Even in the speaking, you go to speak on that, right? So it's a lot of it comes down to what do you want to be, what do you want to do, and what do you want to have.
Hmm. Interesting, man. That's pretty. It's such a cool thing. Like, and I think I talked to like two other people that are doing, life coaching. And it's very similar when working with people. But I believe, from what I've accumulated over the last ever since we did our first podcast with life coaches and motivational speakers. I believe everyone just has their own little thing. Everyone has their own style and uniqueness to what they're doing. So you can't really compare one coach to another because they all have their different techniques and ways that they use when they're doing their practice. So for you, what are you looking forward to the most when getting on stage or getting in front of people? What do you think is the most valuable for you when you're speaking to people?
Oh yeah, so mine will definitely be different than everybody else's, and what you got to realize is that you can't be comparing yourself to any other coach, any other speaker, because they all do have their own different stories, their own ways on how to practice, stuff that they've been through.
Mhm.
And what you're selling is you're selling yourself and the value that you bring, not just a motivational speaker or just a life coach. You're selling why you're different and the kind of solution that you're going to bring to them.
Right.
But mine will be different because I am one of those guys that people never thought would be depressed or and I was hidden for a long time. So I'll get up there and I'm this 6'3", 230-pound tattooed guy,
Big guy.
and then I'm gonna go into my vulnerability,
Right.
right? But I'm gonna start off with my first time on how I spoke and dribbled pee on myself, so I get a laugh from him first, right?
Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, it must be tough though. Like how many since we last met, how many events or how many people have you spoken in front of thus far?
Uh, wouldn't we speak in September?
I think it was late last year. I think it was around that time, September, October-ish, I think.
Yeah, I think I spoke at Mental Suicide Awareness Day,
Right?
and then I just got into two different schools, and
Oh yeah.
one Harlan Elementary, and then the high school in Enderby.
How was it speaking in front of those kids?
It's awesome. You know what? They pay attention, and it's really good. So when you see them engaged and paying attention, it makes you feel better about yourself because they're actually listening. But
Hmm.
then you're also thinking, okay, well maybe you can't reach everybody, but as long as they reach that one kid,
Right.
that's what really matters. So looking around, when you see people locked on you or engaged with you and just paying attention, it makes you feel a lot better, and it's hopefully you get to that one kid.
And you have a kid of your own.
Yes.
How has, you know, in the last, like, you having this your career ahead of you and your goals that you want to reach with the motivational speaking, how has that shaped your kid from watching you do what you do?
It's good because, well, since I've been off and home, he sees me working all the time. But also he would get up with me at 6 in the morning. We would go for a walk.
Yeah.
Then he would sit downstairs while I worked out. And then I started training my buddy's kid in dryland training at a school, and he would come with me.
Oh,
But
nice.
then he also sees me working, but it kind of gets to him because, Daddy, you're working. And I'm like, I know, son. And so what I also need to do personally is work on my planning and my scheduling, because I don't know if you know who Craig Ballantyne is.
No, I've never heard of that name.
So he's a business coach. He says schedule your business around your life, not your life around your business.
Hmm.
And so that's something I personally need to do better on. And what I tell people that I coach is, when you're getting to burnout, or you got a family, right? And you got to take care of them first.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's seen me work a lot, but when I do go to my serving job part-time, I try to make sure I phone him at 8:30 every night, just to make sure I say goodbye or good night.
Nice, man. You know, Father's Day is coming up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part about being a dad, man?
No, just watching him grow, man. It's crazy just how smart they are and how intuitive they are, how they pick up on things, how you got to be careful so they don't pick on some things.
Right.
And just watching him think when he's doing something with his toys, or he's building something. You're sitting there and you're watching him, and you can see his wheels turning, and
Right.
he wants to get it. Then he gets frustrated, but then he keeps going. It's great to see them evolve
Mm,
and see what kind of person they're gonna be.
totally, man. I think being a father, that would be like, because I'm not a father, but just from seeing so many of my friends that are dads nowadays, their mind shift has shifted to like a different level. You know what I mean? They're not just doing it for themselves, they're doing it for their kid, they're doing it for their family. I think that's one of the biggest things is trying to be, or going the extra step. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool, man. And especially to all the fathers out there, that are going through a struggle right now. Like, I know you probably, we all have our ups and downs right now, especially through this pandemic. It's definitely a tough time for a lot of people, and a lot of families, being affected. What can you say to a father that wants to be his best self but can't do something right now? What would you tell him right now?
You just got to be there,
Just got
right? Yeah, you just got to be there for him. You can't. I mean, I know you want to take him here and you want to take him there, but figure out something you can do together. Like, for instance, when I was working, I would get some number books and color books and alphabet books, because he's 4, and he would just sit there and work beside me.
Hmm.
But yeah, don't be hard on yourself if you can't go and do the world, right? I mean, but you can get him outside and you can do stuff like that now, because everything is starting to open up a little bit. But I mean, you don't want to rush it, right? He's
Right.
got plenty of years ahead, so just have fun with it and buy your time and just enjoy it.
Oh,
And don't be too hard on yourself if you're not being the ultimate dad, because there's none of us that are the ultimate dad.
right. Yeah, perfectionism, man. There's no such thing as that.
Oh man, perfectionism. I gotta throw that out the door.
Man,
you
I
just got
struggle with that all the time, man.
you
Perfectionism.
gotta start. You just gotta start. And see, when I was starting, I'm working with a coach to make my own personal development program that I want to roll out in July, August.
Nice.
And I'm like, I keep asking him this question. He's like, man, you don't have to be perfect. You just gotta tell him what you know
Right.
and show them the value you bring. And with my speech, it took me a while to write it, way too long, because I was nervous about it. And because I wanted to get up there and I wanted to blow people away. I wanted them to be like, holy cow.
Yeah.
But I don't need that, because when I'm up there, people they'll get blown away anyway, just because of your story and your authenticity and your vulnerability. So
Right.
I was trying to perfect it
Mm.
when there's no need. All you got to do, that's my biggest advice, and it's just start.
Right.
And it's funny because everybody, any course I took or any influencer I followed, they all say just start, and it's like that one right over my head.
Right.
Like, yeah, but I need to do this. Like, from a guy with no experience.
Right.
No, how about I listen to them? Be a student. Give yourself permission to be a student, and then just start.
Be a student, man. I like that. I like that. We're constantly learning, man. We're always evolving, and I think that's something that I forget to tell myself too all the time, man. Is that, I am very hard on myself too, and it's something that, and that comes with the perfection thing,
Mm-hmm.
but like sometimes it's just like you want something so bad, and you're working towards that thing so bad, and you want it to be the right way all the time. But ultimately, at the end of the day, just like you said, you can't be too hard on yourself, and you need to just let things go, and eventually you're going to get there. We're just constantly learning, and as we get older, like as I get older too. I mean, I'm turning 29 this year. Which,
Turning 36, bud.
turning 36.
Yeah.
See, man, I think we're still young, and we still have so much room to grow. So I think, not being too hard on ourselves is ultimately, at the end of the day, is actually a goal if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like, with what you're doing, man, there's going to be a lot of people that I already know that they're going to be looking up to you in a way where, oh, Justin said this, and like that really pushed me to be the person that I want to be. That's a lot of pressure, man. You know what I mean? And dealing with that pressure, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and being able to handle that is probably going to be the most challenging part. With stress, I wanted to talk about stress and fear today, because for me, stress is something that, you're always going to be constantly dealing with it every day. For right now, obviously, we talked about a little bit when we met in October. But how are you dealing with stress when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling stressful? How do you deal with that?
Well, for one thing, I do. You know what? Since I put all my stories on social media, I got a very big. I think I got 2,700 people on my Facebook, so,
Mm.
and maybe 1,000 on my Instagram. But there are a lot of people reaching out, and it's a good feeling because they trust me. So
Right.
with that, I just try to be as truthful as I am and tell them, and not to try and fix them. Just tell them what I did to get better.
Right.
And with the not comparing thing, being too hard on yourself is just, you gotta think, if my buddy was talking to himself that way or herself,
Mm.
what would I say to them? And I know it's easier said than done, but it's that internal dialogue we have that can really control our outcome in life.
Mm.
So if you're constantly beating yourself up, you're eventually, I'm a failure, you're going to be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
But for one, you're only a failure if you quit and if you don't learn, right?
Right.
Thomas Edison, they're like, you failed at making a light bulb 10,000 times. They're like, no, I just figured out 10,000 ways on how not to make a light bulb, right? But for stress, yeah, I'm normal. I can get stressed pretty easy, whether it's serving at work, um, or whether it's trying to be perfect, to just trying to make sure I sit down and do the work. But what I try to do is remember where I was 16 months ago.
Mm.
16 months ago, I had hospitalized myself with suicidality, and I was a full-blown alcoholic, and I was dabbling in drugs. To where now, 16 months later, I've spoken in front of 500 people. I did 2 motivational speaking courses. I've done 2 life coaching courses. I've been reaching out, making my own program. People reach out to me. So I just got to remind myself of how far I've come. Take it and realize, okay, so why am I stressed? Always question your thoughts. Why do I feel this way? So when I went to rehab, I remember I put the drinking aside and
Mm.
asked, why do I drink? And the why is a big question. So I also found my son was my why on why to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to question my thoughts. So why? So why am I stressed right now? Am I looking too much into it? Should I be stressed? Is there a reason to be stressed? Is this stress serving me? So you always question it, and then you think, okay, so I'm stressed because you know what, I have a lot to do. Okay, so what can I do to feel unstressed? Okay, I can break all this work up, do one small task. And I've been learning that, you know, don't put too much on your plate at a time. A lot of these guys I follow, it's work 50 minutes, get up, take 10 minutes off,
Mm.
walk around. Some people's brains, you can't cognitively function for 3 hours,
Right.
right? So I was getting stressed out because I wasn't sitting down for 3 hours. And then I talked to a buddy of mine, and it's like, maybe your brain's not, I can't do that right now yet, right? So this is another word I like to use. It's yet. So when
Okay.
you're talking to yourself, it's like, I can't do that. Well, you know what? I can't do that yet.
Okay.
So your muscles of brain, and I'm reading Jim Quick's book, Limitless, on how to learn faster and retain information.
Yeah, I've heard of that book.
Yeah, this guy's amazing. Like, he had a traumatic brain injury when he was a child. He couldn't read very well for the longest time. Struggled through school, and then he started reading on how to learn,
Okay.
and then just exploded from there. Now he teaches celebrities on how to learn and how to read, how to retain information. So he can see 100 things or something and then repeat it all. It's insane. But he's showing the brain that it's limitless. So what you got to do though, is he talks about the brain as a muscle. You got to train it. So I was getting stressed out that, oh, I'm not sitting down for 3 hours, but okay, maybe sit down for this amount of time, okay, and then extend it. But just keep practicing.
I li-
Um,
like that. I like how you say yet, man. I never heard someone say it like that before.
yeah, you know what? I got that from Tom Bilyeu.
Tom Billy, oh man, that's my guy, man.
Yeah, man. I watched one of his growth mindset. Yeah, so it's part of a mindset switch,
Right.
right? So, and in kind of the internal dialogue or the self-limiting beliefs, I can't, I don't, or I'm not good enough. But it's just, you throw in that simple word at the end, it's, I'm not good enough. Yeah, just kind of makes your mind think, okay, well, let's get there, right?
Man, I like that so much, man. I'm gonna have to quote that and put that in and post that somewhere and sometime because I really think that's a very it's such a simple thing, but it's such a valuable piece for anybody to go through. I think self-talk is probably, and we touched on that too before, like last time we spoke, and how important self-talk is. But that one small word actually is just making my brain kind of move a little bit faster right now. The way that you put that, it's
Yeah, well, it's, you know, you got to simplify things. You don't have to, and you know, I was probably bad for this too, trying to overanalyze.
right.
You overanalyze, make it perfect. Okay, there's something big that I'm missing. Well, you know, it's just do some little steps and you'll get to the big picture, right?
That's true, man. And back to you know, I'm so happy that you became sober and that's awesome, man. And I made a decision this year. I'm like, I asked myself that same question, like, because I'm not a big drinker or whatever, but I have to ask myself. I've been talking about alcohol recently in the last little bit with some few podcasts and just conversations in my life. But I haven't touched a drink this year because I asked myself that question at the end of last year, like, why am I having a drink? But not only with alcohol, with everything that I think is like either a vice or it's like it's something that's that I'm dependent on. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm continually asking myself questions like, why am I doing this? And why am I doing that? And it's making my mind go like, why am I doing that? There's no reason for me to be having a drink. It's not benefiting me in any way. Is there anything else in your life, Justin, where you're like, man, this is a vice, or I'm dependent on this? I should change this up? Are you going through anything else other than what you're dealing with before, previously with alcohol or whatever it was?
Yeah, see, I could struggle with sugar sometimes.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar can get to me. I mean, I eat pretty clean, but
Hmm.
it's like, I mean, I'm an addict, right? I found, since I look back over my life, I get addicted very easy. So
Right.
I have to be super careful of a lot of things I do because I can get addicted really easy.
Mm.
But at least I'm aware of it, and good for you, man. That's awesome that you're aware of it and that you want to change it. And it's going back to asking yourself questions,
Right.
right? And then, is this serving me? does this serve a purpose? Is this going to move me forward in life? Is having these drinks going to move me forward? Is me getting drunk going to help me make better podcasts? I mean, I'm not against drinking at all. I mean, I'm a guy that can't drink.
Right.
Personally, right?
Yeah, there's no judgment placed on anybody.
No, I don't judge anybody that drinks at all. It's just if you want to know when to get help, where to get help, I'm there for you.
Right.
But good for you on recognizing that. There's a guy named Joel Marion who he was a teacher and quit his job to write this book. Book flopped. And then I think he went back to teaching, and then he made a supplement company. He made $100 million in his first year. Whiz at email lists. Whiz.
Wow.
Yeah. So what is his podcast? Geez, I was just listening to it with Jim Quick yesterday. I forget, but he doesn't drink either now and he never drank hard. He just got drunk at a couple family functions, and he's like, I don't like this person who I am.
Right.
And Craig Valentine doesn't drink, I don't think. And like a lot of these guys, they're putting the drinking aside because it's not serving them.
Right.
Right. And so it just comes down to asking yourself questions.
I think that's very important, man. And man, you're big on the podcast game, man.
Yeah. So I like to listen. I probably listen to a podcast every single day.
That's awesome.
I have sucks because I want to get to so many people, but I follow so many people because I gather information. I take notes from everybody I listen to. But yeah, I try to do that. I try to read every day because I'm a good reader. I can read quick, but I have a hard time retaining information. I punish my brain with alcohol and drugs, and I've had a lot of concussions and post-concussion syndrome. So I want to practice getting better at reading. For one, because Jim Quick talks about in his book, it's like a digital detox. I also listen to Audible books.
Yes, I love Audible.
I try to get Audible podcasts and a book in. It's some of like a full podcast, but some of an Audible book and reading every day because knowledge. I know it's funny because he says people say knowledge is power, but he says action plus knowledge equals power.
Right.
But people are relying too much on their phones, like example, podcasts and Audible books, which are good though, because some people they don't want to read and they don't have time to read.
That's right.
But I try to get reading in because it exercises your brain in a different way.
Right.
So that's try to focus on that.
So what are you, other than that Limitless, because I want to check that book out because I've heard really good things about that book. What other ones are you reading currently or that you have read? Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I
want to check that out, man. That looks, I've heard 3 or 4 people in the last little bit have told me about that book.
I got this book, Think and Grow Rich.
Of course, that's one of my favorites, man. That's awesome. What do you?
I'm one of those guys that I have lots of books that I need to read.
Right.
I've got. So this is gonna be a good one. I want to put in my program. Just learning on mental toughness.
Secrets, Steve Siebold. Secrets of the World Class. Never heard that one before.
Toughness, Secrets of the World Class. I got lots of books. I got Jocko Willink, The Leadership of Dichotomy upstairs. Dr. Amen.
Book, right?
Sorry?
The Jocko Willink one? That's a newer book, right?
Yeah. It's all in leadership and how he perceived, how Navy SEALs was for him. And it's very well done.
Man, he's a crazy podcast. I love his podcast.
Yeah, man, he's insane. He's a natural leader. You know what it is? He takes action. Yeah. He doesn't sit around, right? And that's the big thing is taking action. Dr. Daniel Amen's Change Your Brain. I want to get into.
Change Your Brain.
Yeah.
Neither. Okay.
He's a neuroscientist that's all about brain imaging and seeing what parts of your brain works. And he talks about what kind of foods to eat. I think it's all these different kind of practices on just how to improve your brain.
I love it, man. I love how you're, man, there's not too many people that are always constantly wanting to learn. And I really, really emphasize that, man, and congratulate you for that because I'm the same way. I'm trying to fill my head up with as much stuff as possible. And I think it's just repetition of just trying to learn constantly about everything and anything that's, especially that's in your niche. But you know, just learning about how your brain works, man, and learning about how other people have navigated to get to where they're at, you know. And guys like Tom, guys like you know, the guy I told you about, David Goggins, you know,
Yeah.
like Jocko
And
Willemick. Yeah, man, like there's so many people out there that are doing or finding new ways to always create their success and learn differently, you know. So there's so many people we can take knowledge from, especially nowadays, right? So man, it's just awesome to see that, like, you know, you're always constantly beating on your craft, man. That's awesome.
trying, right? And I think a lot of it was what another thing that I was needed to work on was that I was trying to make up for those 16 years that I was an alcoholic.
Right.
And so I just, for me, I gotta slow down a little bit. Just to everybody's trying to do too much at once. You just slow down
Right.
and just take your time through it. Like with reading, before you finish, just kind of try and review what you read. Kind of try and remember what you went through and highlight what you like, so you can go back instead of just rereading, or then instead of just closing the book and then it leaves, because Jim Quick says 80% of the information you take in you forget.
Right. That's a
Right.
lot.
Yeah, a couple days later, so you can read as much. So handwritten notes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, I like to do that too, man. When I'm, especially because I listen to Audible a lot, and
Yeah.
I think in the recent book that I posted on my Instagram not too long ago, the new 50 Cent book, Curtis Jackson,
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, man. That I'm telling you, Justin, you would love this book, man. Just
Yeah.
like people have this perception of that guy, but the way that he is constantly learning is,
Mhm.
I think you would really love it, man. It's probably one of my favorite books by far right now.
I've actually heard of his work ethic.
Nuts. Nuts.
Yeah.
Bro, there's this one part in the book. He talks about, and this makes me feel like I'm not doing enough sometimes, but I can't like compare myself to other people, but like this is how people that are at his success level work. So he
Mhm.
was explaining that, like, you know, people have a tough time working for him sometimes because he's constantly moving. He's constantly making moves. So he's up at 5 a.m. every day,
Yeah.
on his way to the gym, and his driver would pick him up. And there was one day he was saying that his driver, like, you know, was kind of like exhausted, you know. So he picks him up at 5 a.m., driving him to a meeting, driving him to an interview, driving him here. By the end of the day, he's dropping him off at 3 a.m. in the morning. 50 Cent looks to his driver and says, "All right, man, pick me up at 5 a.m. I got to hit the gym." And the guy looks like, oh, like knowing that he's exhausted, that he's only going to get like an hour of sleep in his car. But like, that just makes me like think that's how this guy works. That's how he's, some people, he says, call him a robot, but you can't perform at that level every day, obviously. But I mean,
No.
when you're in that flow zone of getting shit done, I just feel that that work ethic is what's gonna push you to the next level. You know what I mean? That's why I like
Yeah.
it.
So, well, you know what? I'm in this coaching program on how to develop my own, right? And we had this guy come in. His name is Richard Yu. Kid is 21 years old.
Yeah.
Insane. So he worked for Vince Delmont and Joel Marion as an 18-year-old. He was an intern, and what did he do? He went back to school. He just out of school, and then he's gonna go back. And Joel Marion's like, "Man, you don't need to go back to school." He's like, "Look, you have your internship. You're gonna explode. You don't need that." He's like, "You know what? But I made a commitment." So he went back to UCLA, did a whole course load in a third of a year, a quarter of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he starts his own company, or he's working for Joel Marion, but he's high up there. But what he does is they're all, a lot of those guys, they're all about rest.
Right.
And it's what can you do in your deep work time. I don't know if you ever heard of deep work.
No, I haven't.
So he gets up at 5, not a minute past 5. His buddy has his credit card. So if he gets up at 5:01, he takes his credit card and donates $500 to a charity that he doesn't like.
What?
That's how disciplined this kid is. He's 21 years old. He doesn't look at his phone for the first 4 hours of the day.
Wow, I like that.
It's not serving his business. There's no purpose in his business, right? But it does, but he does his devotionals, his prayers, all that, and he only does emails on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He has a hard stop time at 7. So he was on our class and he's like, "Okay, guys, get your questions in because I have a hard stop at 7." Like, straight up.
Wow.
It eats by 7:30. He's in the bath by 8:30 or something, and then he lights out 9 o'clock or 9:30. Phone's in the other room. He uses a cheap alarm clock, and his phone's off at 7:30 as well.
Wow.
For those 4 hours, what they call is deep work. This is when you do your critical thinking, no distraction. Have you heard of Bedros Keuilian?
I have, but
Fit Body Boot Camp.
yes.
Yeah, that guy. So no phone, no distractions, and they sit down and they get a lot. What they do is they get a lot of work done, which most people do in I don't know how long, but they get it done like right in the morning. Boom, no distractions. Let's do this. And so they put away digital detox, right? Digital distraction.
Right.
So that's why those guys are successful. And so I wanted to check out this book I got The 4-Hour Work Week.
Yes, by Tim Ferriss, man.
Yeah, have you read that?
I have, yeah. I'm a huge fan of Tim Ferriss, man, and I love his podcast too. I don't know if you ever checked that out, but
I haven't.
Tim Ferriss that's actually my favorite podcast, bro.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the best, hands down, best podcast because he interviews my favorite people, man. But yeah, I love that book though. That's one of his best sellers, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So I heard about it and I just picked it up. I got to give her a go, but it's getting all that work done, which other people do in 1 or 2 days. You get it done in your 4 hours or whatever, and so you make up time. And
I was just talking about that yesterday, man. With I just did a podcast with my buddy, and he was just like, he's turning 48 this year, and he's like, man, if I could go back in the day to be 17 like my son, like I wouldn't, just because of the amount of distractions, man. He wouldn't have been able to get shit done, just because. And I feel bad for I kind of feel bad, but I don't, for the amount of things that all these kids nowadays have. Their brain is like one thing to the next. You can't. It's hard to focus on certain things, and I agree.
That's where that's where if your kid's still living with you, parents need to step in and be like, listen. But give them and you don't force them. You give them a choice, right?
Yeah.
But it's about choices and the choices you make. So I chose to drink, and I know that.
Right.
But I chose to get sober. But yes, there are a lot of distractions, and you got two choices: either get distracted, stay distracted, or put some stuff down, get some work done, and put yourself further ahead of other people.
Right. That's right. It. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of these guys that get a lot of work done is they have a bulletproof plan. Sunday night, plan out their week. I know Anthony Trucks, this football player that I did a fail forward challenge with him, and he does 4 weeks out. He plans his schedule.
4 weeks, eh?
4 weeks. So every bubble, every block has you know what? I did that. Okay, the hour's up. Boom, push it aside. Let's do this. This hour's for this.
That's a month at a time, bro.
Yeah, but they've been doing it for how long?
Man.
Right? So that Richard you guys telling me about, he does a weekly schedule and a daily schedule. So he does his weekly schedule, and they say it'll do it Sunday morning, no gym time, right? It's your rest day. Get it done in the morning, so you're not quickly doing it at night. Get your schedule out, and then at the end of each day, he does what's it called? A brain dump.
A brain dump.
So what he didn't do, he writes down.
Oh, okay.
Do the next day.
I like that.
Yeah. So these guys, they have strict plans, strict routines as well. Have a morning and a night routine. Very important. And if you can, for me, I'm I'm doing a switch over now because I don't get home till 11 at night.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's have a strict morning routine, try to go to bed at the same time,
Yeah.
right? So I'm trying to get into the planning. It's hard, man, to plan your whole week and block it off. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's hard to get into, but one thing at a time, right? You don't want to dump too much on yourself, get overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, I know, man. I was just thinking because I usually like to do that too. Every Sunday, I got to sit down and plan my week out, make sure like all my invitations to like the podcast are planned out. Okay, I'm working here this day, but man, I tried to do a 2 week block. Like this was a few weeks ago, and it's like, man, like this is actually tough because things change constantly, and it's like I feel that maybe I'm putting too much on my plate. I don't know, man. It's very difficult. So to be able to plan out 4 weeks in advance, that's crazy, man.
Well, see, maybe this way you could plan out your 2-hour chunk of what you need to do
hmm
and make sure you don't have your phone for
Yeah,
that 2-hour chunk.
that's the biggest thing, man. It's the phone. The phone is
Yeah,
actually
it's for
crazy.
me too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, I was coaching a client yesterday, and he was saying everything's going well for him, but all these little things were coming up, and he's like, I just want to know why. He's like, everything's going great. Every financial, my business, where I'm gonna do, everything's falling into place. I'm gonna be debt free,
Nice.
but all these little things are coming up.
Mm.
And he's like, I know I should be grateful, but he's like, I just don't know what to do. I'm like, well, have you ever, do you do gratitude in the morning? Well, I'm not really. He's like, I'm grateful for this, but I got to be mindful in it. I'm like, well, so in your scheduler, put a time, 15 minutes for gratitude, 5 minutes for gratitude, just to stop yourself from working. Say a couple things you're grateful for. Like yesterday, I was listening. What was it? It was the Jim Quick and Joe Marion, and I wrote down notes. What was it? If you could, what are the things you are grateful for today that you're being grateful for in the moment that you could take into tomorrow? So you can only take the things that you were actually grateful for today,
Right.
and you could take them into tomorrow. Or write down the things of gratitude that you have right now that money can't buy. But it's taking the time to do that kind of stuff that are the little things.
Right. Man, that's
like, so schedule, and it's hard to remember to get to that. So scheduling it,
right.
Right. Because it's gratitude is scientifically proven to change your mindset.
Oh, it definitely is, man. I keep this, man. I try and write this in this every day, man. The 5-minute journal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like it's actually cool because it gives you like a like I am grateful for, and then you have 3 things. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I see that.
My affirmations, what would make today great. I think, man, gratitude has probably been one of the key components to my life in everyday like action. You know what I mean? Like just thinking about the main things that you're grateful for. I think that it does do something on your brain. It makes you feel more at peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, your brain has. I just sent you something. This is something I created. I sent this to your phone.
Okay.
This is something I created. I think a lot of it's from paying attention to what other people do, and so that I thought would figure into my day. So it starts off. It's on the top. This is your day. Own it.
Okay.
And then it starts off with your mission statement.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
And then 3 things of gratitude. Then 5 things, positive affirmations.
Yeah.
And you put, what is your why? Who do you want to be? Why do you want to do it? How are you going to get there? What are your daily goal, weekly goal, monthly goal, yearly goals? Read 10 pages if you can that day. And then end off with more positive affirmations. Like, I deserve this. I will get what I want, or I will get what I work for. I'm not my past. I forgive myself so I can create my future, some of mine.
I'm going to save that, man. I like that a lot.
So I hand that out to people, whoever wants it. I
love that, man. I don't know if I hope you don't mind if I repost it. I'm gonna post that if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. Do your thing. I hope everyone can, because I like to look at it in the mornings,
Yeah.
just to start your day off, or just those three simple questions, or I get four. So three, when I'm frustrated or rattled, it's okay. You know what? Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be an impactful speaker and an influential life coach. Why do I want to do it? So I can help people know their value and live up to their potential, become unstuck, and have more confidence to create their future. How am I going to get there? Well, I'm going to stay focused and keep pushing myself to live up to my potential, go over my checklist, and stay positive. So right there, you go from frustrated to those three questions. You revert back to your why.
You reset to what you're doing in life. I like that, man.
Try and reset yourself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. I'm gonna use that myself, man. I'm gonna test that out and see how it works for me. I like that, bro. Good for you, man. Good. It's a great job of you creating something like that.
Yeah. Well, it all comes down to changing your mindset. And you know what? I had a buddy. He says when I was struggling, I was like, "Oh, I just changed your mindset." Huh. Okay. So just quit drinking. All right. So now it's the thing you want to do is you want to give him actionable steps on how to do that. But he was right. Yeah, I had to quit drinking and I had to change my mindset. But how can I do that? So I'm trying to figure out the best ways, exercises on how to change your mindset. So when you're struggling, it can be like, hey man, so have you ever thought of changing your mindset, how you view things, how you look at yourself, how you view the world?
Yeah.
And then just give them actionable steps they can take to actually change their mindset instead of say, hey man, just do this, right?
So, I know it's easier said than done, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Justin, listen, man. I know you got things to do today, and thank you so much for getting up this early in the morning and sitting down and talking with me, man. But I'm honestly so impressed, man, and I'm so grateful that like we started off with our relationship back in late last year, and to see where you're at right now, man. And obviously, the last 16 months of your growth has been exponential, man, and I can see it. You're trying harder than the average person, man, and that inspires me, and it's going to push me to be a way better person today, man, just by sitting down and talking with you, man. So thank you so much, bro, for all that you're doing, and I wish you nothing but the best, bro. And obviously we're going to keep in touch. And
yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe even one day you'll share a stage or something. How do you think about that?
Man, that'd be honestly, I'll watch you first, and maybe I'll have the confidence.
Oh, man, you might have more confidence stepping up there than me. But yeah, one of these days, the speaking school I went to, Mavericks out of Vancouver, we kind of want to do something in the Okanagan. His name is Brent Steele.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's a guy named Miles Matilla. Do you know him?
Miles Matilla.
Junior B hockey. Works at Tolkien now, but he started a foundation for hockey players to talk about their mental health. He's 21, I think. So
yeah, I should look that guy up.
Yeah, he works at the Tokul. I just wanted to give a shout out though. So I've been just making a lot of connections. Well, during this, and I suggest a lot. If you're struggling, go out, find people who are struggling like you, make connections. So I'm part of this boys group. There's a couple actors in it from LA. One guy from Australia, one from Shanghai. Where else? I think. Yeah, but we just have this boys group and we just check in on each other. Because at one point or another, one of us would be struggling or still struggling. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys. They're always there. I suggest to people get a boys group, or if you're a woman, get a women's group that you don't have to meet every day, or be in the same town, but just check in on each other and be a support for each other.
Touch base.
But for two guys, I really want to shout out to. His name is Grant Easty. He's from LA. He's really rising up against racism in the States and what's going on down there, because you're seeing all the stuff on the news right now. But he made a video explaining in what's going on. He's like, white people, we need to stand up. Like, this is something we need to do, right? We got to get our brothers' backs. And so he made a video, and like he put on it like Gary Vee and the Logan brothers, like Grant Cardone, you gotta stand up because you guys have all these followers. He's like, you're not calling them out, but he's saying, hey guys, help me out here. Gary Vee reposted and like Kylie Jenner reposted his thing and
No way.
got 2 million views. So I want to give him a shout out because like that takes a lot of balls to do something like that and stand up
100%.
against that kind of. And he called out. He asked the cops. He's like, "When's enough enough?" He's like, "When are we allowed to step in?" Right. So he did a pretty bold statement. And then, man, Glenn Marsden, he has this Imperfectly Perfect campaign out of Australia. He's taken it global. Awesome guy. Talk to him every single day. I want to give a shout out to him because like he's just changing the way the world is looking at it, at the stigma around mental health, because he lost a buddy to suicide. And then he decided to make this campaign, and in 15 or 16 months, he's taken it global. He has all these actors and models and singers and people coming on board who are helping him spread their voice.
Right.
And he's just doing incredible things, and just want to give a shout out to those guys because they're two of my closest buddies I pretty much talk to every day, and they've helped me through some tough times and believing in myself when I'm too hard on myself, and they help me remind myself of where I've came in those 16 months.
That's awesome, man. Shout out to those guys for sure, bro. They're doing some amazing things.
Yeah, you should link up with Glenn on the Imperfectly Perfect campaign.
Yes, I will. I know you mentioned not too long ago. I will.
Yeah, he struggled with body dysmorphia.
That's
and
right.
Yeah, you can even Grant, if I'm sure he'd be down to do a podcast one day.
Yeah, I would love to, man. Thank you for that. I'll definitely send me that guy's information as well. I would love to shout him
Absolutely.
out and reach out to him. But that's awesome, bro. Thank you so much for saying that. That's definitely needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Okay, well, thanks again, Justin. Obviously, we're gonna keep in touch like we usually do.
Absolutely.
Just keep doing your thing, man. You're doing some amazing stuff, bro. I'm really fortunate that you're in my life, and I'm grateful for you, man. And thank you for speaking your knowledge, bro. That's the biggest thing. For me, anyways. You know, just whatever you're attaining, whatever you're trying to learn, and getting it out there to the rest of the world, man. So thank you for doing what you're doing, bro.
Thanks, buddy. Well, yeah, you know what? I just tell people, keep learning, keep learning, keep growing. You don't have to go at light speed. Just something new. Just try something new every day. Try reading, try a podcast, try an Audible, try the gym. Just try something new. Just the more you learn, the more you grow. And like Jim's coach says, you're actually limitless.
Yeah.
Not everyone can play in the NHL. Not everyone can play in the NBA. Not everyone can be an astronaut. But your potential is limitless.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell everybody, you know what, go out there, do the best you can, try and grow, try and learn. And thanks for having me on your podcast. It's always a pleasure. I mean, one day I hope to get as shredded as you. I see those Instagram pictures of you looking pretty tight there. So
I'm trying my best, man. That's all I can do.
But anyways, thanks for having me, man. Let's keep in touch, and we'll do this again sometime.
Okay, have a great day, bro. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, see you, buddy.